Feel like this thing is winding down, man? You look at the schedule, you just got a few weeks left. Are you guys feeling that in practice, kind of the sense of urgency and that this thing is coming to a close?
We're definitely feeling the sense of urgency. You know, it's coming to a close. That means we got to step up our game and just continue to improve and get better on every day. Coach has been stressing, you know, February is the month where, you know, we really got to start making changes and putting everything into action. So that's what we've been focused on now and just getting better day by day.
Certainly got back on the right track this week. What's been the emphasis since then, making sure you keep it going in these last few home games, really?
Just breaking down film and just working every day defensively, making sure that we're following our principles and just playing together as a team and just giving the most effort that we possibly can every play, every possession while we're out there on the floor.
It's been a true evolution of a season for you guys, from a new staff to a bunch of new guys who haven't played too much together. I just wonder, from your perspective as a senior, how do you feel like you guys have grown throughout the year with some ups and some downs, but to get to this point, how do you feel like it's went?
We've definitely had a couple ups and downs, but, you know, I definitely like the way that we're coming together as a team. Everybody likes each other, and we really enjoy being together. We enjoy the new coaching staff, and, you know, they instill confidence in each and every one of us to go out there and play the game the way we know how to play and play together. So we've had our ups and downs, but I really like our team, and I really like the way our season is.
You guys going against San Jose State, I guess, what do you remember about that first game against them?
We definitely felt like we let one drop. So, you know, this Saturday we're ready. We have a lot of energy to play them. You know, we really want to prove to ourselves, you know, like that's the game we felt like we let go, and we want to go out there and get that one back.
What kind of went wrong in that game? What do you guys have to do better against them? What did you learn about their personnel?
I learned a lot about their personnel. I think a lot of it had to do with just our energy levels wasn't where we needed our energy levels to be. You know, whether that's because we were traveling on the road or things of that nature, but it doesn't really matter. We have to make sure that we're ready to come to play every single night.
I know Jazz, you're close with him. How difficult has this been for him, having to sit out these last couple games? And I'm sure he wants to get back out there.
Yeah, definitely he wants to get back out there, but Jazz is a soldier for real. So, you know, I'm not too worried about it. I know no matter what happens with his shoulder, you know, he's going to support us in any way. And even when he wasn't playing, he was a great teammate. You know, you saw him standing up on the bench, giving guys pointers. He helped me out, giving me pointers. So, you know, Jazz is going to be fine, and he's a soldier, so don't worry about him too much.
Jaylen's been on quite the offensive tear of late. What has Jaylen meant to this year's team and you know, all the production he's given you guys?
Oh, Jaylen's huge. Jaylen's huge, and when he gets going, he's very difficult to stop, as you guys can see. So, you know, when Jaylen gets in that mode, you know, we just try to find him the ball and get it to him in positions where he can be, you know, the most effective. You know, Jaylen's been an exceptional teammate, you know, on and off the court. You know, he's a big piece of what we do.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he can score in a variety of ways. I mean, you as a very good defender, I guess, when you look at his offensive game, I guess, why is it so good and so strong in all varieties?
Because he could just score at all three levels. You know, he can drive you, get to the rim, he can shoot threes, he has a good mid-range game, you know, so it's just difficult. You can't really take one thing away because he can get to another aspect of his game, another facet to his game so well.
It does seem like there's a lot of weaknesses, you know, a lot of assists, a good defender, a lot of rebounders. How rare is it to have somebody out there who can really do everything you would ask as a coach on the court?
He's definitely a special talent. You know, he's a very special talent, and he's able to make plays, not just, you know, offensively, but defensively. You know, he's got a couple chase down blocks, you know, so he's definitely a very special talent.
It's kind of going along with the Jazz question from earlier. It looks like you've embraced your role, though. I mean, are you kind of whatever the team wants you're going to give, if that's bench, if it's starting? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, you know, I just try to, whatever the team needs me to do, that's what I'm going to do. You know, some games we might be lacking offense, try to go in there, get in the game and give an offensive punch. Sometimes we need energy on defense off the bench, so I try to come in and be more vocal and give more energy on defense. So it's just embracing kind of whatever the team needs to get a win. I'm going to go out there and do that.
You guys have done a lot of special things and had some good moments. Do you feel like there's a lot more out there, though? Do you still look at this squad and go, man, we still haven't played our best basketball. We could really show some people what we're capable of.
Absolutely. You know, I definitely still think there's a lot more for us to accomplish, you know, and I think when everybody gets going and everybody's clicking at the same time in unison, I think we're very, very hard to stop. So I definitely think there's more for us to achieve.
How much you guys are focusing on getting a top 5 seed, I guess, so you get a bye in the Mountain West tournament and put yourself in the best position come postseason?
My fault, I didn't hear the beginning of that
How much
question.
are you guys focusing on trying to get a top 5 seed in the Mountain West tournament so you get that bye and put yourself in the best position?
We're definitely focusing on that, but in order to do that, we have to take it one practice and one game at a time. So getting a top 5 seed is definitely important for us, but in order for us to do that, we can't overlook any opponent, and we have to come out to play every single game.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, how are practices different with Coach Alford? How is his approach different than Coach Musselman's was?
I mean, they each have different approaches, but pretty much it's a lot of preparation. A lot of preparation, a lot of film. So, each coaches, they do things a little bit differently, but overall, the preparation, the practice, the film, it's kind of, a good carryover.
When we talk with Coach, he always seems to be pretty cognizant of what's going on around the league, and he rattled off everyone's road records the other night after the game. I wonder how much that bleeds into what he tells you guys, because I'm sure he doesn't want you to focus on everything outside, but you had mentioned the emphasis to get a top 5 seed. I wonder how much he keeps you aware of what's going on around you guys, I guess.
Oh, he definitely keeps us aware of what's going on, and I think that's good for us to see, what's going on around us in the league, and that's going to just motivate us to keep playing more. And I think it's also, a show of his basketball acumen just to be aware of, just to know everybody's record, because I don't think as players we know every other team's records, but it just goes to show his passion and his acumen for the game, and he keeps us aware of those things and uses that as a motivational tool, to get us going.
Is there something San Jose State does or that they did really well in that first game that you feel like you guys have to shut down or focus on?
We definitely just have to stop their three-point shooters. Ivy's a good shooter. He's always in a good position, catch and shoot. So we just have to make sure we have a high hand on him and he doesn't get going. And, just packing the first punch, going out there and just, really not dodging blows, but throwing haymakers. Go out there and off the rip, great energy, and playing the way we know how to play.
Yeah, we've really had to back off just because of injuries and fatigue. And, today we get a good hard one in, not so much length, but just do some things and work on some things that we didn't do very well in game one. Most of that had to do with our ability to concentrate and pace. Our pace was really bad. Thought we defended okay, but our pace on both ends was not anywhere where we've been the last couple of weeks. So work on that and just look at the things that we didn't think we did very well in game one and try to correct that here in game two.
Is there a sense of urgency right now, knowing there's just a handful of games left? Are the guys feeling that?
You probably have to ask them that. Again, we've talked about our inexperience, so there's a lot of guys that probably don't know the difference in February to November just because they've not been through it. But we've always, all of our programs, we've talked to these guys about it, that February sets up March. So you've got to do work in February to get yourself in position to set up March, or things come to a very quick close. That's just how fast it goes when you get to this point of the year. So you are running out of opportunities. So the opportunities that you have, you got to make the most of them. And we know we've got 3 crucial games yet still at home and 3 crucial games on the road. That these last 6 games are going to be big on how we separate, either in a positive way or a negative way, in that standing. Obviously, the tournament in Vegas is going to have an awful lot to do with how we finish and how we go into March, but how we set that tournament up is crucial of what we do here in February.
Yeah, and you've been very cognizant of what's going on around the league, and you've been open with it with us. And then I asked Niz if that has bled into what you tell them, and he said you do make them very aware of what's going on around them. And I wonder how important it is to let them know where they stand.
Well, we do, because again, they haven't been through it. Most of them just haven't. You mentioned Niz, he really didn't go through it. He played very, very minimal role, and now he's playing a major role for us. So we just don't have guys that understand that you're losing that game at San Jose, losing that game at Colorado State. If that's the other way, we're in a much different situation here with this team. And so I want them to know how every possession matters. And I'm a big believer. You get no points for home wins, you get a minus for a home loss, and you get a plus for a road win. And we've seen this week that 2 of those teams that were bunched with us got road wins. So now instead of being tied with us with a +1, you got 2 of those teams that are +2. And so you just don't want to have that be a separate. And so we got to win at home to stay at +1 before we go out on the road for a couple. So that's why Saturdays becomes paramount, that we play the way we're capable of playing. And hopefully we get Jazz back. I think he's going to give some practice here a shot. I think he's feeling a little bit better. So, he's questionable at least going into the weekend. So we'll see just what kind of availability we have with him. But everything's got to go into getting this game Saturday at 4 to set up going on the road the next 2 games.
What do you need to see or hear from Jazz to feel comfortable to put him back on the court for a game?
Yeah, I just think his pain level, he's a tough kid, so it's about the shoulder feeling well enough that, and it's strong enough that it doesn't put him into, I've never been about putting anybody into danger onto the court. So it's really going to be totally him, and that's going to be my conversation with him today, that, obviously we'll we'll look at your minutes. It's not going to be 30 plus. But are you available by the time we get another 24 hours in? Are you going to be available or not? Let's not risk anything. Let's make sure you're healthy. We've still got a lot, and I've already said it. Those 3 or 4 games at the Mountain West tournament is really what we got to target towards. So it's, yes, we're trying to set ourselves up for a good stretch, but I just don't want to put him in a situation where he ends up hurting himself, or all of a sudden, instead of being a game or 2, it becomes 3, 4, 5 games. So it's really going to be his decision.
You guys practicing not as much as you're used to. Do you feel like that affects you in games? Do you feel like you might not be quite as sharp just because you can't do as much in practice?
Well, I've always been the feeling of that, but I think every year as a coach you try to get a read of your team, and this team, whether it's some guys that were used to things last year or whatever it may be, they've responded better to not doing as much contact as what we would like. I like contact because of our system, especially offensively. We need timing issues with how we screen, how we cut, but we haven't seen much slippage in that. The big thing was getting more energy, and I think we've had more energy in the most recent games and more intensity. And so, and we got to watch Jalen. With Jazz out, it's about Jalen playing 40 minutes, so we got to watch him. And so we're monitoring him with his workload a little bit in practices. So yeah, we'd like to do a little bit more, but we're spending more time in film. We're spending more time with the low-minute guys. The guys that aren't those top 3 guys, those other 5 guys, we're spending time with them after practice, trying to work on some timing things and those type of things. But normally we go for about an hour, 20, hour and a half at a pretty good clip, and we've had to really tear that back.
What has Jalen meant to this year's team?
He's just, and we're asking a lot out of him, obviously. And we were doing that with Jazz. Now without Jazz, it's even more so because I think he's guarding very well. I just like his development, Chris. I think he's just done a really good job of, he's finishing at the rim so much better than he was 2 months ago, which I thought he was begging for fouls 2 months ago. Now he's going to the rim, finishing, and he's getting to the free throw line. He's shooting the 3 ball at a high level. His 2-point game is, I think, off the charts. He's got a great pull-up game. He's doing a great job with his leadership. So not a whole lot more we could ask out of him. I thought the 38 the other night was, I don't know if there's such thing as an easy 38, but he did that like, really? He's got 38? He really is doing things at a high level. And anytime you do it like that, you know that you're clicking, and he's got a lot of things clicking very well right now.
What was your recruitment process like with him as you tried to fish him out of the portal?
Just get him out of the transfer portal. It's just odd as a coach. You never used to look at that. Now you're looking at it, and now there's 40 guys. 40 guys. We're in the 1st of February, and there's 40 guys in the transfer portal. It's just our game has completely changed now. And so when we got hired here, we had basically the entire team, which really wasn't a lot of numbers. We knew we were going to have to bring some guys in, but obviously getting the guys to get out of the portal, we had basically the whole team in the portal. And we're doing it kind of long distance to begin with him because he's in Dallas. So it was just crucial, and not knowing a whole lot about him. It's not like we knew a lot about these guys when we got here, but from a number standpoint, we knew it was crucial. And the guys coming back, Jazz, Niz, all these guys were telling us just how good he was, and they were obviously exactly right. But it was really just about selling who we are, how we were going to use him, the culture that we were building, and fortunately, he wanted to do that, and I think it's worked out. I think it's worked out well both ways.
How rare is it to have a guy who can do everything that he can do on the court, from rebounding to passing to scoring efficiently to being able to defend?
Well, that's the thing. You don't see that usually. You see a big-time scorer, or you got a guy that can score and assist, but he's hitting just about every statistical category. And then obviously the stat that doesn't show up is how you guard, and he's one of our better defenders. So he's just having one of those special years. I don't know exactly what the stat is, but when I looked like a week ago, he's top 10 in a variety of statistical categories, which you just don't see in any league, let alone the consistency that he's done it with. So I like how he's growing. He was one way in November, and I think he's really solidified himself as one of the premier players in this league and out west.
Coach, we've hit on Nisré a couple times. I'd imagine you've got to be pleased. He just seems to be doing everything you need from him.
Yeah, we're ecstatic about Niz because he was somebody, obviously, had a really tough shooting year, playing a role that was basically about 5-6 minutes a game, which was obviously those are tough minutes anyway. But we've asked him to be the guy off the bench, a 25-minute guy that gives us a scoring punch. He's led us in scoring almost off the bench all year long. He's guarding at a high level. He's not turning the ball over. Without just a couple of exceptions in games, he's taking really good shots, and I think that's why his percentage is going up. But his work to this team is incredible because of leadership, somebody that has been here. He's been a part of winning, and he's made a lot of winning plays for us, so he's been big for us.